Hey, welcome to ACC TALK. My name is Jarrell.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Dave.
Hey, and we wanted to come to you guys with an update. Kick us off, Pastor Rob.
So obviously we are still going with online services only this weekend, just keeping that social distance in there. The cool thing is our children's team is doing a great piece of getting some packets put together for kids. And so Maria and Simone, I think, are doing a Facebook Live at some point. They're going to have those available if you want to come get it. They can email them to you. So we want in this time to continue to make sure there's some way that there's that connection and we're still connecting as a church, even though we're not meeting in the building.
Yeah, I think they're actually Facebook Living as we are talking right now. Really great packet put together. So for us, like we were trying to think through, we don't want to force parents to sit through like our normal adult service and then also sit through a kids service. So we're really trying to come up with ways where the things that the kids ministry is putting together actually goes along with the main message. Yeah. So that they're not having to do two separate things.
Yeah, definitely. And so some of the things that we've been doing in here and in this space, if you cannot tell immediately where we are in the warehouse. And so over the last really kind of month, we've been working in this space to get it ready for students. And so what's kind of helped us in the next coming weeks is because this space is kind of cleared out and it's kind of a fresh space, we're going to be able to host our services in here in ACC TALK. And so been doing a bunch of work. Paul's been incredible, and we've had a lot of people come up and help. And so, so we're going to be doing a lot of things in here.
Yeah, and even this weekend, one of the things I love about the church is just the heart of generosity that we have. And obviously we can continue to do Dollar Club, but we're also going to be partnering with a foster home here next week and giving you an opportunity to really drop off, whether it's some food supplies. We probably will be giving Dollar Club to them just as they have a bunch of kids and some needs in this time. So we want to continue as a church to rally around some things as we move forward.
Yeah, we really wanted to, because we're not going to have what we had originally wanted to do for Love Week. And so just trying to think of ways and different ideas for how we can make that work in the midst of social distancing and trying to figure that out, because we still want to make sure that throughout all of this that we are still focused on our community and trying to show the love of Christ to them.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're in a spot, because we know that things are changing daily for people in terms of jobs and hours and wages and things like that, we would love to be able to hear from you if there's anything that we can do, because we want to try to help you as much as we can. And so, just let us know.
Please reach out. Like this opportunity with the foster home actually came because somebody reached out to us about that. And so there are opportunities. We are looking to get involved and help out as much as we can.
Very cool. So what are your families doing in this time that are kind of helping with this new normal of not being near people and dealing with the cabin fever?
I mean, you have a college student, like our environments are much different.
Yeah. So obviously Caitlin is home from University of Houston, but she has online stuff. She actually is maybe trying to get a job in this time, which would be kind of cool for her. But then Brett started some stuff with school today, and then Crystal is also having to do stuff for students online. And so they're doing that, and it's just kind of breaking up the day, figuring out how do you not make it just all about that. So definitely getting outside, whether it's some kind of exercise, walking, running, those type of things. I know Brett sometimes comes over and we'll shoot lacrosse here at the field, to whatever that may be. So just kind of trying to not fall into just doing the same thing every day, all day.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Not too much Netflix.
Yeah. And
and speaking of like jobs, like, so if you're in a tough spot, HEB is like on this massive hiring spree to try to for stalkers and stuff like that. And so if
I think HEB, Amazon, who else? I think Walmart. Yeah, I think a lot of Costco. Probably, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So for us personally, my wife, we have the privilege of her being at home with the kids. And she is just it's like homeschool, so she has like a schedule.
Do your wife
go through
like
and all that stuff?
Like my wife looked at your wife's like Instagram and was like, I want to be like her when I grow up. Yeah, just doing some really cool things. Even Josie, I saw Josie posting some stuff, and yeah, I'm kind of glad my kids are a little bit older.
Yeah, you don't have to
time.
like do stuff for them.
So I'm pretty sure if I was in charge of that stuff, both kids would be expelled from school already. So.
Transfer them classrooms.
So.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a couple memes where they're like, first day of homeschool's over, teacher's been fired, kids have been expelled. We don't know. We don't know where we're going from here. But, going out on walks, like making sure the kids are still playing outside. For some reason, my kids think it's warm enough to swim. So they've been in our pool a few times this week. So just figuring it out day to day.
I actually stopped by the hardware store last night, and I need to get propane. And the guy there that actually owns the Ace here in Atascocita, we were just talking, and he was saying how they've been really busy. And it's like, it's weird, though, because people are buying stuff almost to do home projects. And so...
Hey, now's the time.
Now's the time. You're kind of been stuck at home. Why don't you paint a room or something? So that's even on our list of one of the things we're looking to do.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so because I'm up here most of the day, Josie is... kind of carrying that brunt. And so she is homeschooling the kids, cleaning the house, cooking meals, which is, I think the homeschooling the kids is the actual extra burden. You get a little bit of time when the kids go away, but she's doing an incredible job with that. And so when I get home, we just try to find time to play games instead of just plop down in front of the TV. Oftentimes, I will get to a point where I'm just kind of like zapped by the end of the day, and I just kind of want to sit down. And so they've just been cooped up in the house, and so we'll either go outside and play frisbee, or we'll play freeze tag or hide and seek. And so we'll try to do that just so that we just don't fall into the same sort of routine or pattern every single day. And so we go on walks and things like that. And so maybe what are some spiritual things that if people are feeling isolated, not necessarily able to come to church, not necessarily going to their small groups, what are some things that people can do on a spiritual level to make sure that there is connection, not only with God, but also with their fellow family in ACC?
Yeah, actually just got an alert from somebody that's in the church that obviously they chose to put us on it, but like on the YouVersion Bible app, you can do Bible reading plans, but you can invite friends to be a part of those, and so you can read the same thing, and you can share kind of insights to those, or it lets other people know when you've completed one. I'd say that's something that's really simple that you could do. Maybe you reach out to a friend and say, hey, let's do this together. Also, you don't have to get together. You can just do it, and you add your comments, and just kind of being in the Word, I think is really important.
That's and cool. If you have smaller kids, just build some Bible time into your schedule. So whatever, like before lunch, maybe first thing when they get up, just have them read a Bible story together. Even doing pull up a video on YouTube and do some worship together. There's some great kids worship on YouTube that you can find. And so, just trying to incorporate some of that stuff into your daily life. I know that we're going to be, Mireya was live today, and the intent of that live was actually to engage with the kids. And so we're trying to also, as a church, provide some resources for them, for you to be able to engage your kids in their faith as we go through that. But they don't get to study Bible during the week at school, and you get to make that choice. So, and just kind of integrate that into whatever you're doing to help your kids stay homeschooling.
That's cool. Yeah, I would say just because we are physically apart doesn't mean that we need to be spiritually apart. No. And I would say with that, we just need to be very intentional about reaching out to people, especially people that you maybe only see on Sunday, and ask them how are they doing. Send them a text. Pray for them. I think in those moments that other people know that you're thinking of them, they will feel that connection that they would normally get on a Sunday or when they're in your small group. And so just because you're distant socially, I would say take that intentional effort to make sure that you reach out to people, because it may be a little bit before you're able to actually come into contact with people.
Yeah, and if you're a small group leader, that is my request of you. This is the time that small groups were built for. And so you guys have been spending a few months to longer than that building relationships. And now let's really lean into those, check in on your people, make sure we're going to be having some opportunities for groups to probably get together digitally that we're looking at rolling out to the small group leaders. But in the meantime, send a text, say, hey, thinking about you, prayed for you today. And then just make sure that you're reaching out to your people.
As you guys out at home with your kids, obviously you guys got kids that are on the youngest side. Both my kids, even like this conversation came up, it's just like, it kind of feels surreal. Like it's just a weird, not normal. It doesn't seem like it's real in some ways. Like as you guys have kids that are younger, what are some of the questions maybe they're asking you guys? Are they asking questions? You know, how you guys, you know, as thinking about people with young kids, how would you talk to your kids about what's going on?
Well, I would say first, we definitely got the questions. Is this going to affect me? Should I be like, I'm scared. Just walking them through that. And I think the biggest thing is just to remind them that God's in control. And that even though, you know, things are different and we're trying to figure it out and make our best way through this, just reminding them God's in control. We're good. And, you know, for you as a parent, being careful, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're walking through that stuff, just being really careful about trying to sharing that with your kids.
Sure.
And I'm not saying don't be real and don't figure that out, but maybe do some work before they get up or after they go to bed, and just really kind of engage that relationship with God and allow Him to give you some peace.
Yeah.
I shared a verse last week on social media, just that, you know, just reminding, like, if the Bible says that if you give Him your worry, and if you pray to Him and give Him your worries, and if you're diligent about that, He'll give you a peace that surpasses understanding. Sure. And I think that's a huge promise for us to really just grab hold of and share that with our kids, share that with our family. I think that's a huge part of that. That's a really, really big deal. And then the other side of it, just, you know, helping them. We have a 5th grader, and we had a 4th grader who missed their Austin field trip. We have a 5th grader that's thinking about, you know, what if I don't get to do all the fun 5th grade parties? Like, what if I don't? Because they do a lot of different things to help them transition into middle school. And so just, you know, walking through her with that, they were practicing for a play that they may not get to do. And just helping them kind of mourn that. It's okay to mourn it, but helping them see the other side of it, that this is not the end. Especially for kids. We as adults get lost in that temporary perspective sometimes, but we have such a longer history to pull on to know that even though we haven't been through something like this before, we have been through bad times before and come out on the other side of it. And so if we're honest with ourselves and in a good place in our relationship with Christ, we remind ourselves this is temporary, it's not going to be the end. But for your kids, like, that could be that's a huge part of it, reminding your kids that it's not the end, like that this we'll figure our way through this too.
Yeah, definitely. I would say my kids are pretty, they can worry at times, but I don't know that we're enough days in for them to be freaking out. And so they've had very similar questions, especially with stuff that they may not be able to do by the end of the year. And so it's just the constant reminder of, you know, that we're going to be okay, and that, you know, today isn't going to look like yesterday, and today might not look like tomorrow. And so just kind of helping them be flexible, and then also keeping my particular expectations flexible as people in our family get sick, or as, you know, you hear about certain things going on. It's just one of those things where you just try to remain as flexible as possible. It's the times when I get rigid, or the times that, you know, fear and anxiety kind of take over for me. But as I realize that, you know, nothing is promised, not even tomorrow, you hold on to things a little bit different, you know, in the day.
Yeah, I think it was actually Diana on the staff that had posted on Facebook, I think it was last week, just that kind of element of, even as you go through this time, probably what kids will remember most is how we as parents respond in this time. And just I think that's a great reminder to us to live in faith. I was out exercising the other morning, and I'm terrible at remembering songs and who sings them and what, but I'm pretty sure it was Hillsong's "Awake My Soul," and it talks about when, like, God, we hear when we enter a room and people are worshiping together, like, we hear worship, we hear praise, but what God hears and sees is faith. And I thought that was a really cool line and a lyric in that song. And really, for us, as we go through this, does God see us living in faith, or are we living in fear? Now, it doesn't mean we can't be worried. We can't, we got to be smart and not be stupid in this time. But do we trust, are we showing faith to our kids and to those around us? I think we have a huge opportunity as believers and as a church to really be the light in the world in this time.
That's cool.
I agree.
Cool. All right, we would love for you to join us online this weekend. Like, say, our services are only online, so 9:30, 11, and 12:30.
We're trying some different things for sure.
There's going to be some cool things. Like, we got a baptism you'll see this weekend.
Yeah,
excited about that. And then actually next week, and we'll be communicating more on it. So not this weekend, but the following one, we're looking to have communion be a part of that online experience. And so we'll be kind of setting you up to either get supplies or give you supplies. And so it's going to be great.
Yep. So just in the midst of this, we're doing the best that we can. We are just excited, and we still want to be the church. I think that's really important for us. And like you said, just being a light in the midst of the darkness, that we have a faith that we can stand on. Yep. We have that bedrock that allows us to make it through difficult circumstances, because we know that our God is in control. And so let's show that. Let's show that to people online. Let's show that to our neighbors. I think it's needed now more than ever.
And even on Sunday mornings when services are going live, obviously most people aren't here, but the few of us, we are here. And really want to encourage people, if you want us to be praying for something in that time, reach out, whether it's on the live feed, if you're on Facebook watching it, message us, send us an email. We're, to use that time to be praying for folks.
Yeah, I would even say, like, share it. Like, when you're watching, it's the easiest invite you're ever going to do. Invite your friends to watch with you, share the feed. And I think that maybe somebody who's listening, like, that's what they needed. They needed God to speak that into their lives, and you get to be a part of that. So
cool. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next Thursday.
Let's do it.
Can I move yet?
You can move.